So we can keep avocados very simple. Like in my house, I buy about 6 or 8 of them a week, and you should have about a half to maybe a quarter of an avocado a day. We just crack them open usually in the evening, add a little bit of olive oil and vinegar to them. You can make a crunchy salad, which my kids love and my husband loves, which has Persian cucumbers, tomatoes, avocados, and even feta cheese, and we can even put in some canned beans in there as well to make it really healthy and delicious. I mean, everyone knows about avocado toast, which is really a great healthy alternative to butter or cheese to put on your toast. So please keep avocados in mind this year, that they're really super healthy, and you should get a quarter to a half a day. Next slide, please. Okay, so pomegranates. Pomegranates are awesome. Their vibrant red color, the polyphenols are huge, very powerful antioxidants. There's 3 times more antioxidants in pomegranates than green tea and red wine. They are very anti-inflammatory. They will really help with joint pain. They also help with heart disease. They reduce blood pressure and cholesterol and improve vascular blood flow, and they are very anti-aging. They also promote digestion, which helps people with irritable bowel disease, and they can also help diabetics. They decrease insulin resistance and lower blood sugar, and they're very high in fiber. I know a lot of my clients say that they're afraid of pomegranates, especially because they're quite hard to crack into. So my suggestion to you is just cut them open in half, put them under water in a bowl, and slowly peel them open with a little bit of force, and the membrane comes to the top of the water, and the seeds stick to the bottom, and then drain them. Or, you know, most shops now, I go a lot to Trader Joe's, they have pomegranate seeds in containers, so you don't have to deal with the whole pomegranate. And I would suggest you have a couple of tablespoons a day. You can put that on your salads. I just eat the pomegranate seeds plain. I just adore them. People put them in their smoothies. You can bake with them. You can cook with them. You can put them into stews. But please keep in mind that pomegranates are extremely medicinal. Next slide. Okay, so berries. Berries are very low in sugar and very low in calories. They're extremely high in fiber. They're also a prebiotic. Again, remember, that's the food that feeds the probiotics. They're very high in soluble fiber. They keep you full long, and they help to lower blood cholesterol because of the soluble fiber, which they're loaded in. And they have very powerful antioxidants. They reduce the risk of diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. And second to pomegranates, berries have the highest antioxidant activity. So I try to eat berries every day. I tell my clients to, my kids do. There's raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries even, and if you can eat them fresh, that's fantastic. I know they can be expensive, so try to get them on sale, but what's really amazing is the frozen berries. So frozen fruits and vegetables are just as good as fresh because they freeze them right away. So I buy bags full of frozen berries, and one of the things my family loves to do is make like a berry and apple compote, which is like, we call it stewed fruit. Put a few bags of fruit into a saucepan, add a couple of peeled apples, and simmer it for about 40 minutes. That's it, no water added, with some cinnamon, and let it cool down. And we have stewed fruit almost every evening with our kids. And if you can have a cup of berries a day, that will give you the antioxidants that your body needs to be protective from cancers, obesity, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. So try to get in plenty of berries. Next slide. Okay, cruciferous vegetables. So we all know Brussels sprouts. There's bok choy, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, kale, arugula. These cruciferous vegetables are very high in fiber and very low in calories. They have very high levels of vitamin C, E, and K. They really help balance gut bacteria. They're high in lutein. Remember, that protects the eyes. and they're very high in antioxidants. They decrease inflammation, heart disease, cancers, and stroke. If you can get a cup of Brussels sprouts in a day, or cauliflower, or broccoli. We love cabbage in our house. And cabbage is sort of all the rage this year. I believe it will be. What I do is I chop it up quickly, add a little balsamic vinegar and olive oil to a saucepan and simmer it down for about 40 minutes. And I use a whole entire red cabbage. You can use a green cabbage too. And it lasts a while, unless you're kids and you eat it all. And it's absolutely delicious. I also have 2 woks in my house. I suggest you buy an inexpensive stainless steel wok because we wok every night. And we wok cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts with a little bit of olive oil or sesame oil. And again, please remember that frozen is just as good as fresh, so long as the ingredients on the frozen packet of cauliflower or broccoli or whatever you have is just the actual vegetable, no salt or sugar added. And also you can see I have a like bake here of zucchini and Brussels and kale, and it's very easy. That's on my website. It's just like a little pot, crustless quiche pie. So those are the cruciferous vegetables. Please try to get in a cup or 2 every day. Next slide. Okay, omega-3 fatty acids. I'm sure most of you have already heard of these acids, but fatty acids, there are 3 types. There's ALA, which is found in plant oils, chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, and walnuts. And then there's EPA and DHA, which is found in cold water fatty fish, such as salmon, mackerel, herring, and sardines. If you're, just to start off with this, if you're a vegetarian and or you don't like fish, just 3 walnuts a day will give you the fatty acids that you need. They are very anti-inflammatory. They lower the risk of heart disease, lower triglycerides, lower the risk of Alzheimer's, dementia, and cognitive decline. To supplement or not, I get that every day. Should somebody just take an omega-3 fatty acid supplement? And the answer is no. I'd prefer you to eat it because there are so many chemicals within good chemicals, phytochemicals and omega-3 fatty acids within fish or hemp seeds or walnuts that you're not going to get in a fish oil or any other omega-3 pill. Over here you can see there's gravlax, that's on my website. It's really delicious and easy to make. There's salmon, broiled salmon you can make. Also lots of eggs have omega-3 fatty acids in them, and also all the seeds and the flax seeds, the chia seeds. Try to get in, if you're eating fish, a couple servings of fish a day this year. That would be a great start, or a couple of nuts or seeds or flax seeds on some cereal or hemp seeds. That would really be helpful every day. Next slide. All right, garlic and onions. These are nutritional powerhouses used in most cultures. They're really medicinal, actually, in most cultures, and they're rich in organosulfate compounds, which lower blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease risk. They have phytochemicals, which improve the immune system, and they're very anti-inflammatory. And they also reduce the risk of cancers. Antibacterial and antiviral properties, and they're excellent for gut health. Remember, prebiotics. They stimulate the growth of healthy bacteria in the gut to regulate digestion. So I had to prepare dinner for this evening, and I fried up in olive oil 2 huge onions to make with the turkey that I'm going to make for the kids' tacos tonight. So you need to try to get in onions and garlic almost every day. All right, you can grill onions as well. Buy a grill pan. They're only the they're cast iron grill pans. They're amazing. And you can just add a little bit of oil, grill up some red onions. You can put some garlic in there as well, but try to use garlic and onions in all your stews and your soups this year. Again, I have tons of recipes on my website. So please keep it in mind to keep garlic and onions in your daily diet. If you can get in a quarter cup, a half a cup a day, or every other day, that would be very medicinal as well. Next slide. All right, mushrooms. Mushrooms are incredible. They're very rich in antioxidants. They protect against aging, Parkinson's disease, and Alzheimer's. And just 5 cooked mushrooms a day will give you this benefit. It is pretty astounding what mushrooms can do, and they're going to be sort of the it food, I believe, for 2022. And there are tons of different mushrooms out there, so do your research. High in fiber and protein, they are very high in vitamin D, which is unusual because it's not easy to find foods that are high in vitamin D. They're also a natural antibiotic. They really strengthen your immune system, which we all need right now, and decreases LDL cholesterol and decreases the risk of cancers and blood pressure. So I try to get mushrooms. You can get them already washed. You can get them chopped. You can get all different types. And with garlic and onions, I usually saute them with a pound or 2, really, of mushrooms. I add water. You can add coconut aminos to that, or a little bit of low sodium stock, and simmer it for 40 minutes, and you have a really delicious, hearty mushroom soup that can be used before you have dinner. You can have it for lunch or as a snack, and it's going to give you huge amounts of the antioxidants from the mushrooms. Next slide. All right, nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are powerful plant proteins, but I just want everyone to understand that it's very important to look at the ingredients of your nuts. Try to get them unsalted. They do tend to have quite a lot of salt in them. They are high in heart-healthy fats, monounsaturated fat, poly and omega-3s, like I said before with the walnuts. And nuts have a good amount of fiber and a good amount of fat, so it will keep you full for a long time. Nuts can help to lower LDL and raise HDL cholesterol, which is your good cholesterol. They have cardiovascular benefits, such as prevents arrhythmias, reduces blood clotting, relaxes blood vessels, and lowers insulin levels. Keep it to 1.5 ounces a day. Everyone gets confused by that, but what I'm saying is a small handful of nuts a day, of whichever nuts you want, a little bit less than a quarter of a cup, that's fine to have. Or on my website, you can see I make these unbelievable, crunchy, seeded nuts crackers. They're very, very easy to make. It's on my website. Mix chia seeds with pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, flax seeds, a little bit of coconut aminos and water, and you bake it on a high heat. Let it cool down and make it into crackers. And these crackers are a staple in my house, and we have them with cheese, and we even dip them in chocolate. Dark chocolate. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, dark green leafy vegetables. Kale, romaine, spinach, and chard. Try to get in a large salad every day, or mixed vegetables. That would be great. About a cup to 2. They're very high in vitamin K, which prevents osteoporosis and inflammatory diseases. They're extremely high in antioxidants that prevents heart disease, cancers, high blood pressure, obesity. Very high in fiber, which it helps with the gut microbiome, wards off constipation, and promotes satiety. Kale, which is very in at the moment, I know, but it is a great leafy vegetable, dark green leafy vegetable. High in vitamins A, C, K. It is best eaten raw, but if you can't and you need to cook it, that's fine too. And extremely high in antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. And arugula is the best source of dietary nitrates, which convert into nitric oxide in the body, which increases blood flow and reduces blood pressure. So if you want your blood pressure to go down, have a big salad every day. What I do and what I get my clients to do is get bag salad. It's completely fine. You can get cabbages and kale that's bagged, and all sorts of Brussels sprouts shredded, and just mix them all together and make a large salad. Try to do it a couple of times a week, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times a week would be great, with some olive oil. Make it simple with vinegar, balsamic vinegar, red wine vinegar, any kind you like. There's also the baby broccoli that you see. So if you can try to make salads interesting, crunchy, you can add some seeds to them, some nuts to them. That would be a great way to get in the dark green leafy vegetables. But again, the bag salads, make it easy for yourself and try to get it daily or at least every other day. Next slide, please. All right, ancient grains. These are grains such as farro spelt quinoa, amaranth, chia, sorghum, frike, test, millet, and einkorn. These grains are usually very high in protein, fiber, B vitamins, and even omega-3s. They lower the incidence of heart disease, cancer, stroke, and diabetes. They reduce inflammation and contain potent antioxidants. They help to reduce total cholesterol. They are very slowly digested, so it helps reduce your blood sugar. So here's the thing. I know some of these high protein diets are very in and people shun the grains. It's not true. The grains are very important for and vital for good health. As you can see, they lower the incidence of heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, and they're very simple and delicious. Like, we love farro salad. Here's a picture of this farro salad, and I get the one that cooks in 10 minutes, and it's very high in protein, and it's very high in fiber, and we add a little bit of feta cheese to it, tomatoes, some peppers, and some dill, and even some mint, oil and vinegar, and that's it. And that could be a main dish for your evening, or it can be a little bit of a side dish or something refreshing to eat for lunch on the weekends. But please enjoy and look up the ancient grains. They're really, really medicinal. Next slide, please. Okay, citrus fruit. I think a lot of people forget that citrus fruit is pretty incredible. And I'm going to tell you why. They're very high in soluble fiber, which reduces cholesterol. They have a variety of phytochemicals that decrease cancer and heart disease, and they're very high in vitamin C, which is great for the skin, for wound healing, and boosts collagen. They reduce the risks of kidney stones, reduces blood pressure, and benefits macular degeneration. So citrus fruit is also a prebiotic. So need to keep that in mind. The handsome guy up here on the right is my husband. He's obsessed with citrus fruit. Maybe that's why he's so handsome or healthy. And he has about 5 pieces of citrus fruit a day, which is tangerines, oranges, grapefruits, there's blood oranges. You can even put lemons and limes in your water to get some of the antioxidants, phytochemicals in there. But please try to have a couple of pieces of citrus fruit at least a week, if not once a day. Next slide. Okay, so then there's kombucha and there's kimchi, or as we say, really fermented foods. Which would be miso, kefir, sauerkraut, yogurts, tempeh, and natto. These fermented foods are rich in probiotics. These add gut-friendly bacteria for a healthy gut and microbiome. They really help with anti-inflammatory diseases such as Crohn's, rheumatoid, and ulcerative colitis. They really do help the immune system. They reduce the risk of heart disease and aids digestion and weight loss. So as you can see here, there's many different types of probiotics that you can buy, such as kimchi or sauerkraut. Those are fantastic probiotics. They are a bit salty, so you don't need much, maybe a tablespoon or 2 a day, or every other day. But there's also the drinkable yogurts like kefir is very high in probiotics. If you have a quarter cup of that a day, that would be helpful. But then there are farmers cheeses down below, as you can see, and all the yogurts that are very high in probiotics. With the yogurts, please be careful not to get yogurts with so much fruit in them. I prefer you to get plain yogurt or Greek yogurt plain. You can add cinnamon, you can add berries to it, and other fruits. So be careful of the yogurts that they're not too high in sugar. But they're very high in probiotics as well. Next slide. Okay, dark chocolate. I think most people like dark chocolate. They like chocolate, but dark chocolate If you can have about a little piece a day, a square, 72% or more with the cacao, that would be great. They're very rich in antioxidants. The cacao is full of polyphenols and flavonoids. They protect the skin against sun damage. They have the flavonoids that improve your heart health, helps blood flow to the heart and brain for less blood clotting. Polyphenols also increase HDL, the good one, and lower LDL, the bad one. Stress busters and mood buster contains compounds that help relax the nervous system and releases endorphins. So if you, as I said, have a little bit of dark chocolate every single day. So a lot of my clients say, well, they want something sweet after dessert, for dessert, after dinner. And I say, I have a couple of pieces of dark chocolate. We at my house take the crackers that you see there and we dip them in dark chocolate because it's fun to do, and we eat that as a dessert as well. But please help yourself to dark chocolate. It is so rich in antioxidants. It is very medicinal and very delicious. Next slide. Okay, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are amazing as well. They are a great source of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. They are very anti-inflammatory. They lower the risk of diabetes, heart disease, cancers, and obesity. They have vast amounts of vitamin A, 769% for the day in one potato. They're great for vision, bones, skin, and your immune system. They have insoluble fiber, which keeps you full and prevents blood sugar spikes. They're very high in potassium. They have more potassium than bananas. They reduce stress and anxiety, and they increase muscle function. So in our house, we love sweet potatoes, but we like to make them sort of crunchy a lot. And if you want to get in a sweet potato a couple of days a week, that would be very, very helpful and medicinal. We take sweet potatoes, we make them into like French fry shapes, and I put on the heat very high in the oven, about 450 to 500, and I dip them in a little bit of olive oil on a sheet pan, and we oven bake them for about 45 minutes, and they're really delicious and crispy, and the kids love that, and so do we. Or you can make sweet potato toast, do something similar, high heat in the oven, slice the sweet potatoes thin, then you can put them in the oven until they get a little crispy, and then you can put avocados on top, or guacamole, or you can put some cheese on top, but everyone loves that with the sweet potatoes. So enjoy your sweet potatoes. They're very anti-inflammatory and delicious. So next slide, please. Okay, so then there are legumes. They are loaded with fiber, protein, iron, and B vitamins. They help to reduce cholesterol. They help increase healthy gut bacteria. They are prebiotics, can help to decrease blood sugar and increase insulin sensitivity. They also decrease the risk of heart disease. They lower LDL cholesterol and raise HDL cholesterol. There's really nothing more fantastic than the legumes for their protein, for their fiber, for their iron and B vitamins, and they're really simple to make. If you're scared of beans, you can do the quick cooking ones that are like lentils, which we make a lentil stew at least once a week. And again, saute garlic and onions. And then I put in a half a bag of lentils. I fill up with water. I add a little canned tomatoes, low salt or no salt canned tomatoes. I even put in a little bit of ketchup in there for extra flavor, or you can put in tomato puree, as I said, with the sauteed garlic and onions. And it makes, and I put in carrots, and I also put in celery and mint and cilantro if you like, and I simmer it for about 45 minutes, and we have an amazing lentil stew that we all love for our dinners. Or you can also see that I do a bean burger. That's a bean and beet burger. That's also a recipe on my website, and that takes no time, and that's with canned beans. Canned beans are just as good as fresh beans or fresh, dried beans, but please make sure the beans are no salt. And if you have a load of regular beans, canned beans in your cupboard, but they are salty, if you rinse them off really well for about 10 minutes and soak them a little and rinse them again, it gets off about 40 to 50% of all the sodium. So you can do that as well. But canned beans do come in no salt, and they're great for really quick and easy bean salads, bean burgers, bean stews, and it's a great way to get in protein without any animal meat in there as well. So that, I believe, concludes the talk, and you can go on to the next slide, and then I'm happy to take questions. Thank you. Thank you.
Janine, thank you so much. We have a slew of questions here, but let's go over your contact information first. This is, let's see, your website is JanineWhiteson.com, where we can find many of these recipes. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
And then on Instagram, we can find you at Janine.Whiteson.
Correct. At Janine.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. So what I'm going to do is I've compiled all the questions everybody's asked. And if you have more questions as we go, just type them in the chat and I'll monitor that.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question, I think you touched on this with frozen versus fresh food, but how do you help clients navigate the increasingly high cost of superfoods?
Yes, well, that's what yes, it can be very expensive. I agree. And that's why I said frozen is the way to go, or canned. So if you go to the supermarket, look for frozen vegetables. Again, I have a stock of it in my refrigerator, frozen fruit, frozen berries. I think they're about 50% less expensive than the fresh. And you can live off of that. So a lot of times I go into the supermarkets and it's just cost prohibitive to buy all the berries I can physically eat every day. So I just buy 3 or 4 bags, or look for sales, which I do as well, for all the different shopping centers around you. But fresh, frozen, please, I really guarantee you, I promise you, the frozen is just as good as the fresh, but be careful. It just should say, if it's raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, that's all there is, that there's no salt, that there's no sugar in there, so make sure that when you do that. And the same with the vegetables. If there's broccoli, cauliflower, kale, frozen, that's fantastic, but it should just be the vegetable and no salt added. Canned beans are fantastic, and I use them all the time. If you can't find no salt, there's a lot of reduced sodium, and if you can't find reduced sodium, just rinse them off really, really well, and that's very, very helpful. But yes, look for sales and frozen and canned foods. Those are very good, very, very good, very healthy, and cost effective.
Next question, do nuts need to be eaten raw? And then the follow-up to that is, does roasting them degrade the beneficial fats?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the first one. What was it?
Oh, sorry. Do nuts need to be eaten raw?
No, that's a myth. And I hear that every day as well. So no, there really is not much change to the quality or the antioxidant benefits to nuts raw. And I have to say, I can't stand raw nuts. They turn my stomach. So why would I ever have anybody eat raw nuts? No, get roasted nuts, but you can find plain, unsalted, unadulterated, meaning no added oils. Or I look for nuts that are on sale, like almonds or any other types of, peanuts, whatever. And I like to roast them myself, but just be careful, put them on a baking tray, put it at 350, but you have to watch it not to burn them, because that's happened to me quite a lot. The burning effect of nuts is not very nice. So, that was, no, you do not have to have raw nuts. If you enjoy the taste of raw nuts, by all means, but it doesn't change them at all if you have them roasted. And what was the next one?
The follow-up to that is, are nuts bad for your digestive system? That's a myth out there too, I think.
Right, well, no, nuts are not bad for your digestive system. In fact, they have very good quality protein in them, and fibers and vitamins and minerals, antioxidants. So they're not bad for your digestion. They're actually very good. And studies have shown that nuts actually pass through quite nicely and are not always well absorbed. So it can actually help with constipation as well. But if people do have irritable bowel disease, you know, some types of colitis, and if you have nuts and you repeat them or they do cause stomach aches, then I suggest you do not eat nuts or seeds completely, yes. And sometimes even like flax seeds or chia seeds, those have caused a few problems with my patients. So you can be careful with those. But if you can tolerate nuts, they're very beneficial to your digestive system.
Excellent. Okay, next question I have is, Ayurvedic principles state you should not mix yogurt with fruit. Is there any truth to this?
Listen, Ayurvedic medicine is thousands of years old, so who am I to fight that? So if you want to eat them separately, I understand. There's no issue. I have no issue with that. However, traditional medicine maybe, or current, there is no scientific basis to keep them separate. So if you enjoy them together, I think you're going to be completely fine. And I think it was my 94, 95-year-old grandmother used to have yogurts every day with a banana. So, and she lived a very long life. So if you want to separate it, no problem. If you want it together and you enjoy it, that's great too.
Great. Okay, next question. You doing okay with the questions?
Fine, fine.
We have a couple more coming down the
Yeah,
pipeline
no
here.
problem.
Okay. Is there any truth to the statement by some diet gurus is in quotation marks, that cauliflower is inflammatory?
No, it's anti-inflammatory actually. So cruciferous vegetables are anti-inflammatory, as I mentioned. They are so good for your gut microbiome, for warding off cancers and heart disease, and they're anti-inflammatory. So no, that is not true. And all fruits and vegetables are beneficial to your health. And I think we need to follow the science and read the journals, you know, whatever is out there so we can educate ourselves in the right manner. So no, cauliflower is amazing. And if it hurts your stomach, or if you're not sure, you don't have to eat it raw. You can cook it. You can make cauliflower rice. You can make cauliflower soup, anything you want. But it's truly an incredible vegetable.
I agree with that. We like to roast it over at our
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I forgot.
favorite
I roast
way.
a lot of vegetables. I do. I forgot about that. Thank you. It's amazing.
Okay, next question. Does non-dairy kefir yield the same benefits as dairy-based?
Yes, yeah. So they use bacteria in the kefir, and so usually all like the coconut-based and the non-dairy based kefir, with their bacteria, it's very beneficial. So yes, yeah. If you have a problem with dairy, that's not an issue. You can go to the non-dairy. Make sure there's not much sugar added to it. So that would be great. I do have people who are lactose intolerant, but actually kefir, they have no problem with. So if you want to try regular kefir or the non-dairy, just as good. But that was a great question.
That's a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next. What is your opinion of juicing veggies and fruits?
Yeah, absolutely not. Juicing is not great, and I'll tell you why. Juicing is, I've never juiced. I don't own a juicer, and neither do my children, my husband, my family. I don't advocate juicing at all, because when you juice, you are taking out the water. Yes, there are vitamins, minerals in the water that you're making, but you're missing out the fiber. And you're also missing out the chewing effect as well. And that all helps with satiety, and the fibers, as we discussed in this, session here in this lecture, those fibers are prebiotics as well. So you're gonna miss out all the prebiotics, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, all the things that are anti-inflammatory in the fibers. So why would you do that? You need to eat the whole entire fruit or vegetable. So if you are very into making it, in pulverizing it, I think you should get like a Vitamix or a bullet, so you can take the whole fruit or vegetables and you puree the whole entire fruit or vegetable, so you're not missing a thing. That's the only thing I would suggest you do, but stop with the juicing. No juicing. No juicing allowed.
Okay, next question. We need a review on avocados. Can you tell us again how many avocados do you recommend per day?
Okay, so some people are scared of avocados because it's a fatty fruit, but again, it's very beneficial fats. So if you have no problem with weight gain and you're good, you can have 1 avocado a day. That's a fantastic thing to do. My kids have an avocado a day sometimes, my husband does, my clients do. If you are trying to be careful with your calorie intake, they're still incredible. So maybe 1/4 to 1/2 a day, I think would be a great amount. And there's so much fiber in there as well. Don't forget, 1 medium avocado has 10 grams of fiber. You need between 30 and 40 grams of fiber a day. So even if you get in, you know, 1/2, you're getting 5 grams of fiber there, and plus all the essential fatty acids, you're doing great. That's what I suggest.
Thank you. Okay, next question. Are
Sure.
vitamin supplements recommended?
Okay, so I prefer you to get everything from the food you eat. And I know it's an effort, and I know it's going to take time, and I know you have to shop right in order to eat right, but I really would like you to get all the fruits and vegetables and the grains and the proteins that we discussed in throughout the week. It's a cumulative effect over a week or a month. So if you eat right, and it doesn't have to be every day, it's just maybe 80% of the time, you do not need any vitamins and supplements, not any. However, if you have had your blood tested and your doctor says you're low in vitamin D is tough to get in through the food you eat unless you eat a lot of fortified foods or like a lot of mushrooms or a lot of omega-3 fatty acid fish like salmon, herring, or mackerel, which not a lot of people do, or sardines. You may need a vitamin D supplement, but otherwise you do not need to supplement your diet with any vitamins. We suffer really from overnutrition rather than undernutrition, and that's sort of the big industries, you know, pharmaceutical industries wanting us to keep on supplementing. It's not necessary at all.
Okay, and then we have another next question. You did sort of touch on this here. Many of the real benefits occur when we eat these foods on a daily basis. If we are on a budget, can we assume we can still acquire many of the benefits of superfoods, even though we may not eat all of them on a daily basis?
Yes. Yeah. So say that again, that you have the benefits on a budget.
Yes, can we assume that we can still acquire many of the benefits of
Yeah.
superfoods,
Yes.
even though we may not eat them all on a daily basis?
Yes, that's the point, right. So you don't have to eat these on a daily basis, but if you can just try to figure out how to get these foods into your diet over the course of a week or 10 days. And I think also keeping in mind that you can keep a lot of frozen berries in the house, or frozen fruits in the house, frozen vegetables in the house, canned beans in the house. That's really going to help you spread. First of all, it's great for the budget. And second of all, it helps you spread it out throughout the week. So you don't have to be forced, oh my God, the cauliflower is going off, or there's mold on the broccoli. I've got to eat it today, but I'm just not in the mood for it. So keeping those foods in mind, frozen and canned, and spreading it out over the course, you could say over the course of 10 days, you know, and then go shopping every 10 days. That's not so difficult for most people. And also there, you know, a lot of these fruits and vegetables I've mentioned can last a long time. The citrus fruit lasts a long time in the refrigerator too. And look for sales as well. Keep on scanning the aisles for sales of these types of foods and stock up. Yogurts last a long time, farmer's cheese, kefir, all the fermented foods, they last months. So keep that in mind.
Okay. Next question. What do you think about those box soups at Trader Joe's? Like the mushroom soup in a box.
Oh, I love Trader Joe's. Love, but the box soups are really high in sodium. So if you have issues with your blood pressure, you have heart disease, diabetes, or you just retain water, those box soups I would stay away from. Maybe occasionally, as if you need something quick once a month, that's okay. But if you go to my website, or if you just look online for quick and easy mushroom soup, it's really easy. Trader Joe's, just go to Trader Joe's and buy the sliced mushrooms. Get a couple of onions and garlic. Get coconut aminos, that helps to flavor it as well. And make a soup with that. You don't even need stock because you have the coconut aminos and the mushrooms. You can get different types of mushrooms, make like a really great savory taste. And then you can get a hand blender. I suggest you invest in a hand blender. They're only about $25. And I do an immersion hand blender for the soups. And it makes an enormous quantity for very little money. You know, something like that can cost you like $7 or $8, but can give you like 12 cups of soup rather than a box of soup that's very high in salt. So I would stay away from the box soups as much as possible. They're just as salty, and sometimes they have a little funky ingredients like the canned ones, even though I do love Trader Joe's.
I do too. Okay, next question. What are your thoughts on following low, high FODMAP foods for individuals with IBS?
Yes, yeah, definitely. If you have IBS and the FODMAPs, those types of foods are definitely beneficial for your gut. And if you feel better on, you know, the FODMAP group of foods, for 100%, do that. And what you could do is, if you have IBS and it's really bad and it's chronic, follow that kind of diet. And then once you heal and you feel better, you can slowly incorporate more foods back into your diet and then see which ones affect you. You know, so that's what I tell my clients to do, that they follow that kind of plan. And then when they heal and they feel better, then they can slowly incorporate the foods, you know, that we discussed, and other foods that they like. But they do need to heal first, and then move on from there. You know, try different types of foods, but definitely have to take care of that.
Okay, I'm going to do two more and we'll wrap it up here.
Okay.
First one, do you recommend supplements for someone who follows a vegan diet?
Yes. Well, okay. So good question. Yes. That is where you do need some supplements. Occasionally, a lot of vegans do not get in enough B12, which comes from animal products mostly. So if you would like to have a supplement of B12, I do recommend that. And then I would discuss this with your doctor just to make sure you have that supplement. And there's like nutritional yeast from Trader Joe's is high in B12 because they fortify it. So any foods that are fortified in B12 for the vegans, that would be great. And just make sure that you're getting in enough good quality proteins, which you can with tempeh and tofu, and all the fruits and vegetables that I mentioned are very high, are not very high, but they're pretty high in protein. And all the vegan dairy is also good amounts of protein, and there's a drop of B12 in there as well. So you do need to be careful if you are vegan, yes, but it can be done, and it's usually not an issue. And you can discuss this with your doctor as well.
Okay, great. And our last question, this is the perfect one to conclude on. What are some of your favorite, best healthy snacks?
Okay, so I love crackers and cheese. I'm sort of addicted to that. So I do love making my seeded crackers, and I put on some goat's cheese on there. That's one of my favorite snacks, and I top it off with a little bit of tomato. Or I put some Jarlsberg, light cheese on the crackers. I do like high fiber crackers, which are Gigi crackers, and I put like a lower fat cheese or regular cheese on there with tomato. I love farmer's cheese, and I put that on my crackers I make carbonata, which is like an Italian Sicilian sort of eggplant dish, and I put that on with the cheese. I'm very savory. I I like popcorn, so I make my own popcorn with kernels and olive oil. I like potato chips. So I try, I have potato chips occasionally with a little bit of hummus, or I do, what else do I do? Oh, I try to get the olive oil potato chips because they're really delicious and they're lower in sodium. And I also like carrots and whatchamacallit, and avocados, and I chop them up with cucumbers, and I put a little feta cheese and olive oil and vinegar as well. So that's and stewed fruit. I love the stewed fruit I make as well. But I am a bit of a cracker and cheese and savory. Anything sort of savory is my sort of snack.
Janine, thank you so much. I think we could ask you questions all day. Thank you
That's
for
okay. It's been
everything.
fun. Thank you so
And
much. It's been so fun. I appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you all for attending.
Okay, thanks for having me. Bye.